Welcome, everybody, to another episode of The Mic Drop. My name is Randy. This is the Rev. Say hi to the Rev.
Hey, what's up, y'all? What's going on?
How you doing today?
All right, same as always.
Same as always.
Same as always. I'm here.
You're here. We got a very special guest today, Rev. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean like special needs. I mean like special, like another high-level comedian. He's got a special on YouTube called It Looks Bad on Paper. And we're going to get deep inside of him like a colonoscopy. Let's say hello to Tom Nutty, everybody.
That was a wild introduction.
Bet you've never been introduced like that before.
No, I mean, I've had people inside of me, but not
What?
so well-spoken. I'll say that. How you guys doing?
Good.
Right out the gate. That's how y'all start.
That's
Okay.
right.
All
That's right. So your last name is Nutty.
Yep.
And
100%.
I feel like that's really limiting you to comedy only.
Well, it also gave me a great career in construction and alcoholism. So
Right.
it lends it to a couple aspects of my life.
Sure.
You know? People think it's a stage name,
Right.
and it's 100% not. That's what happens when your inner city father has sex with a 16-year-old, and then I'm here.
Is
you know?
that what happened?
I swear to God, my dad was 53, my mom was 16.
Wow.
True story.
Check that out.
The good thing is I'm not named after my dad because my dad's real name was Cecil Francis Nutty. That would have been a fucking cool name.
That would have been a cool name. But you got Tom. But like, you're never going to hear like Dr. Nutty, code black in the emergency room. Dr. Nutty.
No, you hear it. It's on Pornhub.
Well, that's another one. He'd be a good poor name.
Yeah, I gave that up a few years ago.
Did you?
It was going nowhere.
What was your genre?
Oh, everything.
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 Stepmom.
No, I didn't do any of the
Stepsisters.
step stuff. That's weird, but no, just anything. Did a lot of like police videos, you know.
Where you're the cop, or
I
she's
played
the cop?
both roles.
You played both roles. I'm trying to figure that out.
Go ahead, look it up. You'll find it.
Yeah. You're also never going to hear. Hi, I'm funeral director Nutty.
I hope not.
This is our caretaker, Bozo Goofy.
Yeah. Well, like both of my kids play high school sports, and like they've like embraced the name. Mm-hmm. Like that, it's not like it was when I was growing up. Like it's like a cool name for them. Like they're known just by Nutty at school, and they both love it. And I guess it's just the world we live in now, where people just don't make fun of it like they did when I was their age.
Oh yeah, it was a different world then. Yeah. When did you graduate high school? The 90s?
I never have, but
no?
No, nope.
When would you have graduated?
I would have graduated in 03.
Okay.
03 or 04, but I dropped out, got my GED, and went to work.
Well, you're doing pretty well now.
Yeah, I mean,
got a special on YouTube, got a lot of views on it. I said it looks pretty popular.
Yeah, it's doing all right.
It's very professionally done.
Yeah, I had my buddy Ray, who is from the Happy Hour podcast. And then Daniel Blake, who is like the editor for that podcast. He's the one that did all the editing and post-production. Both of those guys are great to work with. So I just sent them over all the raw footage, and they sent it back like that. It was great.
Yeah, well, you got 2 specials on YouTube, right?
Well, I got the first one's only like a 20 minutes video, but I really only made that because that was right when Brendan Schaub dropped his special, Gringo Poppy, and I was like, this is the worst fucking thing I've ever watched. And I was like, I can do that. I swear to God, that's what it's called. It's called on YouTube, it's called Not a Special, but Better Than Gringo Poppy.
Right.
Is he local? I've never heard of him.
No, he's a LA guy who's in the Rogan sphere for a long time. He's wildly popular, but just terrible at comedy.
Wow, where Bob been? Don't know who that is. You heard of him?
Only because of his special.
Right. It's like, he
And then I had
marketed
to look
him.
it up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And is he that bad?
He's all right. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here
don't
to
trash him.
badmouth him, but that was the whole reason behind that whole thing. I was like, I could do 25 minutes better than that motherfucker. And I did.
Yeah, I like that you said that. I'll get back to that. But you have another credit. Check this out. You're my daughter's favorite comedian.
That's wild to me that I'm anybody's favorite comedian. I'm gonna be honest with you. It makes no sense, but because Friday night was the first time my daughter actually saw me do comedy.
How old is she?
She's going to be 15.
Okay.
So she was old enough, and the comics on the show were all fairly clean. There wasn't any, dirtbag shit happening. So it was a good night for her to see it, and totally uninterested.
Now, do you do material in front of her? Do you try stuff out?
No. Like I said, that's the first time she's seen me actually do it. I mean, she's seen like clips on the internet or whatever, but first time she actually saw it live and totally disinterested. And then Kaylin went up right after me, who everybody knows Kaylin. And my daughter thought that was the greatest performance she's ever seen. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And she told me that we were walking out of a church satire open mic. She's been there twice, and she's seen you twice. One night she was the only audience there.
That'll happen.
And she told me that she was like, I think Tom Nutty's my favorite comedian. And I looked at her, and then she went, well, second favorite comedian. No, you already said favorite. Are you your daughter's favorite comedian?
Oh, hell yeah.
There you go. So you're doing fathering right.
I hope so. Now, did you do the rice joke in front of your daughter?
No, but she has seen that joke because obviously it's on the internet. Right. She has seen that joke, and she's like, I don't know why you got to be like that. And I'm like, because it's fucking funny,
That's a well-crafted joke.
Yeah. I like that's one of the play the hits kind of jokes. You know what I mean? It always works no matter where you're at, what room you're in.
That's clever.
That's one of my favorite ones. That and the Planned Parenthood joke that I've been fleshing out for like the last 3 or 4 months. That's really grown legs and turned into one of the best jokes ever. And that's just based off of me seeing a Planned Parenthood. And I was like, what would be funny next to a Planned Parenthood is a psychic. And then it all just turns into this whole bit. So that's how half of my writing goes. Is it's either a true story about my life, something that happened, and then we spice it up a little bit and make it work. But
always.
Do you have to wait for something to happen for it to be funny and then it be material? Like, what's your writing process? Because you said you wanted to write another full headlining set by like September or so.
Yeah. I mean,
that's extraordinary to me.
It is, but a lot of the writing I do is on stage, right? So like the open mics, I'll go there and I'll have like 3 bullet points that I want to talk about, and I'll flesh them out as I'm there. Same with like last night when we at church, sold out room, and I did 25 minutes, and I don't know, 17 minutes was just crowd work, just fucking around with the people there. And then I probably got 10 new premises off of just last night that I'll start fleshing out at the open mics and the next show and the next show, and then we'll figure it out from there. But
so you got new premises just by
just by talking to the crowd and the people there, and then their reactions off of stuff that I already had. Like I had bullet points that I wanted to get to. Like Elon Musk is a hot one right now, so you bring him up, the crowd's going to feel A, B, C, and D, and then you just navigate it that way, and one of them's going to work, And that's, other than like actual life experiences, that's how I do most of my writing. Is I'll come up with something that I think's funny, and then I'll talk about it, and I'll talk about it, and I'll talk about it, and I'll beat it to death if it's not funny, and then if it is funny, we'll take it, put it in the collection of this will be on the next one,
Yeah, because I've been hearing like these full-time professional comedians, they talk about having a writing team. So people at like your level, you don't have a writing team, but you're still able to come up with headlining sets. Like you write an extraordinary amount of material.
That's right.
I mean, how much good material do you think you have total, Rev?
Shit, I think all of it's good. Fuck it.
There you go.
That's the attitude.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is the attitude. But you probably have 5 hours.
I got a lot of notebooks.
You probably have a day worth of material.
But you don't know if it's good until you actually do it.
Right.
But no, I think all of my shit has some type of legs that it can grow on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can walk.
Oh, 100%. Most of the stuff, like I said, we're at the level now where like we know before we even get on stage if it's going to even be close to funny. We're not going to go up there and be like, oh, what's up with the fucking blah, blah, blah. Because we already know it's bullshit, hacky shit. We have a good idea of what we're doing already. So like I know if something's even going to have legs before I really start fleshing it out. I'm like, all right, this is A, B, and C, and I'll get the rest of the way there. And also, I'm a firm believer in I can't sell something as funny if I don't find it funny.
Right.
So if I find it to be not funny, it could be funny as fuck. If I don't find it funny, I'm not going to go out there and be like, hey, guys, this is funny. You got to.
Because you don't believe in it.
No, and you can't sell something that you don't believe in.
Exactly.
And when you got a good bit because it has a certain sound to it when you write it.
Yep.
There's a rhythm to it. And a lot of times it'll make you laugh.
Yep.
You're like, oh shit, that caught me off guard. If it caught me off guard, it's going to catch them off guard.
Yes.
And that's how I end up with most of my bullet points. Is I'll be driving a lot, and I'll just, hear something on the radio, see something happen, and I'll be like, this is funny, and I'll just put a note in my phone, a bullet point with whatever it was, and then I'll go start working it out. And if I find something funny, it goes in the phone, and then I'll work it out from there. It's usually how it goes.
Does it stay in?
You're writing
Huh?
on the phone? Do you?
No,
you don't physically.
I write physically, but I don't keep a notebook on me at work and everything else. So all the bullet points go in the phone, and then I'll flesh them out on real paper.
On paper.
Yeah.
Nice.
I must be the only one that doesn't do that. I know Sonny does it. I know David does it.
It's the easiest way to remember what you're doing. If you write it out, and I'll write the same bit 8 times and try to play with it, but it locks it in your brain so much better than type it down real quick or listen back to it. If you physically write it out, it's in your brain.
My handwriting sucks, though.
That's a
so
valid
does mine.
point. That's a valid point because the way the information is processed, it's processed from that piece of paper to your hand, and it filters up to that mind instead of just typing it. It's almost sort of like shooting somebody or stabbing somebody. There's something a little bit more
More personal.
when you stab somebody.
I'll keep that in mind next time I murder somebody.
Well, you're in Westminster.
Yeah. The sirens are going by.
Also, what I like about doing it that way is it gives you time to think about the bit. Like if you just type in or using, like I see a lot of people do like the voice to text notes or whatever, and they'll just say the bit, and they don't put any thought into it. When you're forced to write every word of that bit, you start looking at words like, oh, that should be here, or this part should be here. You take the time to break it down. Whereas if I just said a bit into the phone and then repeated it, it's not anywhere near as polished. If you take, like I said, I'll write the same one 6 times.
Right.
By the time I get to the 6th one, I'm like, oh yeah, A, B, C, and D all flows now.
And you start editing right there.
Yep.
And then when you're on stage, you're going to edit once again. So the process is just really chopping shit up.
Yep. That's the name of the game, is quick, be smart with your words, and just move on. Like you'll see me on stage, I live in the silence between laughter.
I took notice.
Like I let it burn until it's done burning, and then we move on.
You do
and
that.
That came from Justin Schlegel, one of the first shows I did with him after I got off, and I did well or whatever. But he pulled me aside and he's like, "You're stepping on your own laughs." He's like, "You're trying to get to the next one before they're even processed the first one." So ever since then, I take that time and I'm just like, in between everything, I'll take a sip of the beer, whatever. But just let shit breathe. Take your time. Ain't nobody in a hurry, Yeah,
because what you're doing is you're conditioning that audience also. If you start stepping on your jokes, they're going to be rushed.
Right.
Instead of just letting that shit marinate. That's right.
And it builds a rhythm without it seeming like you're building a rhythm. You have the A, B, C, pop. All right. A, B, C, pop. All right. And that's how the show will go for 40 minutes. There's a rhythm to it. And it almost makes them like they know when they have to laugh.
Conditioning.
They even if it's not the best punchline, they know that when that time comes, it's time to laugh. And once you're a half hour in, that rhythm is just going.
That's B.F. Skinner shit right there. Right there.
But I mean, it's true.
That's literally neurolinguistic programming.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Really?
Exactly.
No, I've never heard that fucking word.
That's it.
You familiar with that?
That's it. Well, that's part of B.F. Skinner's also when it comes down to behaviorism and conditioning and Pavlov's dog.
Pavlov, he has a big, good example of that. It's the conditioning, So that's a pretty smart way to look at it. I never thought of it like a rhythm.
Well, I think, too, is before I ever started comedy, is I was such a huge fan of comedy. So, like, when I started doing it, like, I had in my brain, like, you're supposed to do it a certain way, and you're supposed to, like, have a certain level of respect for this, and not just go out and, say a meme that you saw online on stage.
And there's a lot of that.
There's a fuckload of that. And it's cool, you do it, whatever, but it's only going to get you as far as that fucking meme's going to go,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have a high level of respect for the comedy aspect of this. And
Part of it.
coming up through church, we're working with Jim and everybody, like they all have the same respect for it. So that's just how it is. So I'm not going to go out there and phone it in just because I can get cheap laughs off of some bullshit, And that's just how it is. So put some work into it, and you can get a good product. That's how I look at it.
And the audience knows.
Yeah, they can tell. Like you can go out and do 5 minutes of bullshit, and you'll get laughs, whatever. But when you get into 30, 40, an hour, it thins out pretty quick, and it's obvious. So put the work in. That's always been my motto with this. Just put the fucking work in.
What you said about memes, though, that brought up a good point or a good topic, because like I had a joke. I wrote it in 2012, and I did it in 2012, and it worked great. Then I saw it itself wasn't a meme, but a very similar thing was a meme later. It's like a one-liner type of thing. Yeah. So what do you do about that? Like, I just keep doing it because I feel like I own it. Well, so too bad if somebody else figured it out.
That's fine, but the problem is the internet allows every thought to be published.
Right.
So there's going to be cross-contamination. There's going to be memes that maybe you thought about 5 years ago, and now somebody else had that thought, and it's going to happen. There's no way around it, And that's really when I started taking my comedy into more of like a personal direction instead of trying to write like punchline jokes that are just made up, because somebody else is going to come up with that fucking joke or a version of that joke. But nobody's going to tell my DUI story. Nobody's going to tell my rice joke, It's not. So that's just how I look at it, is you can't copy something that nobody else has ever experienced.
That's authentic, right?
Anybody can tell a dick joke. They've all been told.
Right.
But
like you and I have had apparently similar experiences. Like you've never seen me perform, I don't think, ever.
No.
I think you're always outside when I'm
probably
up on the mic. But like he's got a bit about prostate exam. You ever had a prostate exam?
No.
Oh. No. At some point you're probably going to have to. No. It's crazy that we don't have
he said
better
no.
technology for that. But you have.
Refuse.
No, I've never had one.
Oh, really? Because you've got a joke about it.
I got a joke about like illegals. That's about how I'm okay with them taking our jobs if it's stuff like prostate exams.
Okay.
That's the basis of that bit. But yeah, no, I've never actually had a prostate exam.
You both are in for I'll tell you both, it's as bad as you think it is. But just for a few seconds.
I mean, I never really pictured it as bad.
No, for me it was.
No, I pictured it as horrible. It's terrible.
I saw it as almost sexual assault.
I don't blame you.
But like what you had said was very similar to what I was saying, so I'm changing mine because you've got seniority in the scene.
Well, and see, that's another thing. I hear people like, oh, you can't use the same premise as something. There's only so many premises in the world.
You can use the same premise, because like if I were to like MC or host or feature for a show that you're headlining,
right,
then you could jump off of what I said and make yours better.
Right.
And he does that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean that's fine, but you see people that are like, oh, I have a very similar joke, but I say this, but it's like we're all talking about the same thing. And if you have a better version of it, I don't give a shit if it's the same topic or almost identical.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing it better, do it better, man. Like,
that's a good point, because everybody's diving in the water. Everybody's going to dive in the same waters. What you do once you're underneath that water.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But when you get to a certain age and you had the same similar experiences, you're going to write parallel thoughts.
Very similar things.
True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying, is if somebody writes a similar joke to what I'm doing, go for it, man. Like I'm not competing with anybody but me. I know this sounds bad, but I don't give a shit what everybody else is doing.
I agree.
I don't. If people are coming to see me, then they can come to see me. If you have a similar joke to what I'm doing, I don't care. I don't care. And like I said, all of my A material is all personal shit. So if I see somebody up there telling my DUI story, that would be different. But if
that's pretty specific.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you make it funny, and nobody's gonna copy that. And if you do, it's wildly obvious. So I don't care about it. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, we can't have similar thoughts on the microphone. Okay.
But if you saw someone do your DUI joke, you would address it with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, big specific jokes that I put time and effort into.
You own.
Those are mine.
Yeah.
And unless you can prove to me that you had an identical experience, which I doubt anyone has ever parked their own car after being
Parallel.
arrested. Exactly. And that's a true story. I was in the back of the cop car. They got me out to move my car after they promised they would move it. That's a true story. So unless somebody else did that, you don't get to tell that story.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But it is what it is. So fuck it. Everybody just go have fun. There's enough cake for everybody to eat. You know?
Yeah. It's like jazz.
Yeah. Exactly. So
It's all mixed up. Now, you were talking about having bullet points. I've never seen you use, I mean, I've only seen you like 3 or 4 times, but I've never seen you use notes
that's because
on stage.
this is how I do it. This is also a fun trick that I was taught by professional comedians. When I go on stage, I put my phone on the stool. Those are my bullet points.
And when you go to take a drink,
If I need them, they're there. But no, I don't take papers on stage. I don't take a notebook on stage. But the bullet points are on the stool. You know. Now, like when I do like my headlining spot, that I map that all out before I even do it. Like I know the flow of the whole thing, so I don't need the bullet points for that. You know.
do you sort of see how one bit ends and goes into the next one?
Yeah. Yep. When I recorded, I tried to make it so where like it went from the bullshit stories, like the fun stories, into like the darker stuff. Then it went to the kids. Then it went to the marriage. Then it went to this. You know what I mean? It all, everything went to the next one in a reasonable fashion. But yeah, put your bullet points on your phone, put them on the stool. You can at least look like a professional. You know?
Yeah.
I saw someone actually go up there as a headliner with a notepad
Yeah. No, you can't do
and call that his special on camera.
that. I mean, to each their own. But
Come on, man.
like that goes back to what I was saying. Is like I have a respect for this art that we all get to do. You know, I'm not going to go out there and make a mockery out of it when I could just very easily just put my phone on the stool and accomplish the same thing.
Yeah, it's also lower effort.
It's way lower effort.
And it fucks up the flow, too.
It doesn't look professional. And like if you're up there fumbling through papers, like, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not saying this towards like people at an open mic. Take your notebook on stage at an open mic if you want to. I'm talking about real paying professional shows. Just, you know,
But why not approach an open mic as you would a show? Why not practice the way that you would perform?
Well, I mean, you can, and at a certain point, that's what you do. But when you're starting off, don't let the fear of taking your notes on stage fuck you up from doing comedy. Because if you're not confident up there without your notes, you're gonna hate the whole experience.
Right.
Take your notes up there at an open mic. No one gives a shit at an open mic. Take your notes up there, and if that's what builds your confidence, so that when you get your first guest spot, you can go up there without your notes, then that's how you have to navigate it. I can't tell you to what to do, but
Right, trying to scaffold yourself back into autonomy. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
but yeah, like if this is something you want to do, go do it. Don't let the bullshit. You're not going to go to an open mic and be booked to do a 20-minute spot 2 weeks in. Everybody shows up and like, oh, can I get on? It's like, no,
That doesn't.
you got to work
doesn't
at
happen
it.
like that. It doesn't happen.
No, you got to work at it. And, you know, the people that see the work, we know what you're doing. You know, we don't need to question if you're putting the work in. So just go do it. That's all you can do. Take your notes on stage. Don't take it. No one cares. You know, don't make it into a bigger thing than it is, especially for open mics. They're for fun. Go have fun.
I think at paid spots, though, it's a different story.
Oh, 100%. You take notepad on stage on a paid show, then I'm going to be like, hey, man, what are we doing? Unless it's like an active part of one of your bits. No.
This guy, it wasn't part of his bit. He was ill prepared and he was fumbling all through his papers, and I'm like, this is disgusting.
But it's disgusting to you because it seems like he just didn't respect the show and the art enough to prepare for it.
At all.
Right.
That's the problem.
At all. And to call yourself a headliner, don't even look at me.
Right. Like if I get a 15-minute spot, I'll prepare 4 hours for it.
Yeah.
Just so I don't miss a single beat.
Right.
Yeah, and like it took me 5 years to get an hour that I was proud of. You know, an hour that I could perform correctly, not fumble through it, and I was proud of all the material from A to Z. You know, you're not going to do that in 8 weeks. You know, so if you're going to prepare 4 hours for 15 minutes, yeah, put in a little bit of effort and don't, look professional. That's all I'm not shitting on anybody, but Put some effort in.
Definitely shit on that comic that went up on stage.
Say his name. No, I was kidding. Don't say his name.
I can't even remember his name, to be honest with you.
And there you go.
Yeah. So
easy to forget.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Tom. Do you have any material that you've done on your special that you could look back and be like, you know what, that shit's kind of hacky now? Because I've got shit like that.
Yeah.
Be like, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, there's always shit you look back on, and it's not really that it's like, oh, I don't like it anymore. It's just now that it's grown more legs, and I'm like, I wish I could have fucking done it this way when I recorded it, or A, B, and C. But I mean, everybody looks back on their stuff, and either they hate it after a while, or they're like, oh, I could have done this so much better this way, you know. But no, I don't look back at any of it and hate it. I'm tired of doing a lot of it. That's where I'm at with it. Is, you know, I've been polishing those jokes for a long time, and now it's like, all right, let's move on to the next one, you know. But like last night, I closed my spot. I just told the Vegas joke about the wheelchair, and that's a home run in every room. It's easy work, but I'm tired of telling the fucking Vegas joke, you know? So that's where I'm at now. I'm serious, you know? You get tired of saying these same fucking jokes, but
we've talked about that before, I think, with Chris and Kaylin, like getting tired of material. But what's interesting to me is you get tired of it. But if you're in front of an audience of people who've never seen you before, they're not tired of it.
Oh, no. They love it. Last night it popped. It was great. And I'm just like, we'll do this one again, you know? But like I said, I did 18 minutes of crowd work fucking around. And then I wanted to make sure that I gave them some sort of polished product at the end of my set, you know? So that's why I did it, you know? But that's why I'm starting to build into the next hour, because I don't want to have to just reach in, play a hit, and get the pop, because that doesn't do it for me, you know? Like, okay, it works, but I'm like, it's not as much fun as it was for the first year I was crafting that joke.
Right.
You know, now that I know it works, it's almost like I don't like it.
And
like,
sometimes it's hard to sell it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. But then I heard, like, somebody told me that for 10 years, Jerry Seinfeld did the exact same set.
Yeah, that's
for
Jerry Seinfeld.
For 10 years.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So there's something to that. If you can go in front of different audiences that have never seen you and make it pop and sell it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is there's no right way to do this thing. You know, everybody does it different. There's no right way. If you want to do the same thing for 10 years and it works, working is working, you know. But like I said, I got to the point where I'm tired of it, and I don't enjoy it the way I used to enjoy telling these certain jokes. And there's some jokes, like the rice joke, I love telling that joke. I'll probably use that joke forever somewhere, but I love that joke. But the Vegas joke, you know, it's kind of like whatever, man. I know the start and the stop of this. I know the pop. It's not fun. I like the adventure of trying to figure out. That's half the fun in comedy.
Did that Vegas thing actually happen?
Yeah. Yep.
So what happened?
It's a long story, but I got to Vegas because I did Skankfest 2 years ago, right? Got to Vegas, whatever. I'm hanging outside the hotel.
Is that a porn thing?
No, it's like one of the biggest comedy festivals.
Oh, Skank. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's so much fun. Like, I showed up, and within 2 hours, I was smoking a cigarette with Ron White. Had no business doing that.
Yeah, you do.
No, not. I'm sitting in a green room. I have Roseanne sitting where T-Mac's at. Ron White's sitting next to me on the couch in the green room, and we're just smoking cigarettes. I was like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, long story short, I'm standing outside the hotel. They were handing out LSD, because that's what they do. And I don't really fuck around with drugs at all. I drink a lot, but I'm in Vegas. It's all these big names, whatever. I'm going to do a little acid, you know. Did a little acid, walked around the Vegas Strip or Fremont Street, not the Strip, but walked around, and that's a horrible idea on acid. But anyway, there was a lady sitting in a wheelchair, and a sign said, "Want to see a trick?" It's a true story. It was $5. I gave her $5, and her trick was she just stood up and then sat back in the wheelchair. She didn't get up and run away like I say on stage, but that was a real thing. Her whole trick was like, ha, fuck you, it's not a trick. And then she would just sit back down. And I don't know how many people she got, but she got me, and I was on acid. So, yeah.
Wait, doesn't acid last like 12 hours or something like that?
Yeah, but I took like a fucking half tab, so it was like a good 4-hour roll, and then I just couldn't sleep is all it turned out to be.
So when did you perform in proximity to the acid?
The next night. I did it after I performed, because I performed 4 nights out there. So this was Thursday night, whatever, I got out there, performed, and then Thursday night, dabbled with the acid, and then the next Friday night I performed again. So it was well gone by then. I'd never do comedy on acid. I would be fucking paranoid. There's no way.
Have you done it drunk?
Have I done? Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's not fucking fun, and I don't like doing it.
Is it not fun because you have like lapses in your memory?
It's not fun because it's just sloppy, and I don't like it. And most people have done comedy with at least a half a buzz on, and I figured out my number, but no, I don't like doing it drunk at all. I like getting about 4 beers in me before I go on stage. That's fine, and then after the show, whatever. But
sure,
I don't like being sloppy on stage,
I've seen people doing it high.
Oh, yeah. Dude, weed is way different, and I don't even do weed. I don't like weed, whatever, to each their own. But I know people who are, like, stoned out of their brain, and they're get on stage, and it's just like they're fine.
They're in their zone.
They're in their zone. That's what does it. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's not my thing at all, but I've seen it a lot. And it's like, I don't understand how you guys are even functioning, much less doing 20, 25 minutes and clear-headed. It's like,
I would just be standing there going, why do you all hate me?
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah. As I said, I don't like weed, and there's no way I could get on stage high. I'd be like, nah. I just sit there. But a couple beers in me, we can talk some shit. Then I'm having fun.
Right.
But I don't understand how people do it fucked up, but whatever.
I saw Chris Kattan at Magoobies over the summer, and he was ripped.
Yeah, he was in Vegas when I was out there, and I saw him a handful of times in and out of the green room or whatever, and he was having himself a time.
Yeah,
I'll say that. Yeah, but yeah, it was fun.
A couple of local comedians opened up for him. They were excellent. Got to give them props.
Yeah, Magoobies has got a good, whatever you want to call it, a farm league. That's what we call it, Like, they have a bunch of guys down there that are killers, good comics, and you see them when they open up for these big names when they come into town, and, like, there's a lot of good guys down there. A bunch of them just moved to Austin, so now, like, the next level of guys are coming up.
So they went out there, too. Wow.
Yep, Matt Brown, Law, they went out there. And now you got guys like Luke Harris and stuff like that are kind of taking Matt and Law's spot in the roster at Magoobies, and more power to them. I mean, they're all good. They got a good, whatever you want to call it, AAA league down there, and they're good about it. They let the guys host and guest spot or whatever for the big games, and yeah, they got a good system down there.
Do you ever do the contests down there?
Yeah, I did it a few years ago. I was third place in the finals at the end of the year, and then I was like, I don't.
Or the monthly one. There's a monthly contest.
Yeah, I won one of the monthly ones. That's how you get to the finals, and then I won like made it to the final round, and then I ended up being third. I forget who won that year. Either way, but yeah, I've done it. It's fun. It's a good time.
Is that a good way? Is that a good entree to get you into?
If you're good. Yeah, but you can't just go do the contest and expect to work at Magoobies because
just because you did
contest.
Right, right. I figured the winners would get a but even the monthly winners might get a
they're real. They're good about that. It's like even if you don't win the contest, if you're good, you're good. That's the name of the game. And like I said about putting work in, put the work in. The right people will see it. If you're funny, you're funny. It's not like they're gonna be like, oh well, you didn't win, but you killed this room. So just be funny. That's it. So it's recognized, even if you don't win a contest or whatever, it's put in the work, be funny. You'll get where you need to go. At least eventually, or you might not. There's no right or wrong to this shit.
I mean, I'm seeing a lot of bookers who are just booking their same 3 or 4 friends over and over again. So it's hard to find like a good booking process place, You see that?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. That's why I like the Nutty and Friends doing every other month at church. That's become like a playground, really, is what it is. And what I do, because I book everybody on that show, so I'll bring up guys that haven't been to church, haven't got to do their like a paid show at church, but it's all people that I know are putting in the work, doing the thing, and they, maybe they just get lost in the sauce, and I'll bring them up, and it's like Valentine's Day, I'm headlining at church, and there's a guy, RJ Jackson, down on the shore. I don't know if either of you guys are familiar with him. He helps run that Dream Big theater down there, and he's a great comic. He's a good comic, But, he doesn't show up to our open mic because it's 4 hours from his house. So
Right.
he doesn't get on the radar like the guys that are there every day. But I know him, and he's going to come up and do a feature spot for me, and it's going to be a great time. That's how I try to do it, is the guys that I know are good, but, they might not have time to stay at an open mic till 11 o'clock on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Thursday. But they're all good comics, Because you see it a lot of the people that hang out and bump elbows and, make their name more in the social circle than on the stage, then, they're more on the radar than could be the funniest dude ever that has to leave and go home because he's got 2 kids.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's got to be challenging. The other side of that is there's so many.
Yeah.
Like I talked to Ryan Nazer about it, and he said he's got like 80 to 100 comics hitting him up all the time.
Yep.
How do you choose?
Yeah, I mean, I don't envy that at all because Cellar Door is a great spot. It's one of the best rooms around. And like even their open mic on Tuesdays, I think it is, like you can't get on that list unless you sign up like 2 days before. There's just everybody's trying to get on that, and it's just comedy's wildly saturated right now. That's the sad truth of this. Is, there's 15 bar shows going every weekend, and it's like, yeah, you're gonna there's not enough quality comics to do 15 bar shows with 8 comics each. Like it's just oversaturated sometimes, and I said that's a sad truth of it, but the funny will work its way out,
Yeah.
Hopefully.
People will eventually give up doing bullshit comedy because it's only going to work so far,
Right.
So they'll weed themselves out, but that's why I like doing, like I said, the Nutty and Friends is fun because the momentum stays the whole show because it's all good comics. It's the most fun that I've had doing comedy.
And you have a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
At the church.
Yeah. Jim's great. He's great to work with. I would say work for, but that's not the right word, But it's an absolute pleasure to be a part of that place, because that was where I did my first open mic. Was church.
Really?
Yep. First time I ever did an open mic was at church, and it was before COVID and all that. I think it was called the Zero Profits mic or something like that. Before it was Nitro and all the other iterations it's been. But yeah, it was the first place I did it, and to be a part of what that's grown into and what that place is constantly evolving into, it's just the most fun you can have. Like almost 6 years ago, I walked in there and did an open mic. Now, if you go in the back, there's a bar back there all set up. And on the bar, Tony Wood signed the bar. Thanks, Tom Nutty, because he popped up onto one of the Nutty and Friends show. He just showed up. And he was like, hey, can I get a spot? And I'm looking at Tony Woods. I'm like, can you get a spot? What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Of course you can get a spot. You can have the whole show. This is your show now. I don't care.
Tony Woods and Friends.
Yeah, because I've done the Woods and Friends with him a couple times. Tony's great. But like he popped up and did my show, and I was like, this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
So it's just wild where comedy takes you, and you have no idea what's going to be the next thing, Like I said, I've done Acid in Vegas. Tony Woods signed the bar, my home club, thanking me. I'm like, this is a fucking fever dream.
You deserve it. You work hard. You're a headliner. Why not?
And that's, I don't know. I don't think I deserve anything. I think it's just, I put the work in.
You put the work in. You work for it.
I'm not, like, I've headlined a bunch, but I don't go around being like, I'm a headliner. You know what I mean? I don't care. I love the game of comedy. I don't give a fuck what title you put on it, what role I play on your show. I don't care. It's fun. And once it stops being fun, that's when people gotta see themselves out. If you're not having fun, what the fuck are we doing?
Exactly.
Here,
Exactly.
But so yeah, it's been a good run. It's been a good 6 years of doing this. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot more to go.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hopefully, that's the thing.
So what shows you got coming up?
I got a bunch of Church of Satire. I'm headlining on Valentine's Day. Doing another Nutty and Friends in March because I try to do it every other month so it just doesn't become so saturated. I like it to be kind of like a special event. I'm doing Cult Classic on Super Bowl Sunday. That's down in Stevensville. Other than that, you can just catch me at the open mics trying to work out this next hour and figuring shit out as I go. That's all I'm doing right now. Just riding the wave. It was nice to film the hour, and then I took I don't know, about 6 weeks, maybe not, probably 5 weeks off. I just didn't do anything. I needed my brain to reset. And it was like, all right. And then that was my plan. I was like, I'm going to take 6 weeks off of comedy and then I'll start again. And I made it about 2 weeks. And I was like, no, I got to go back out there, you know?
Huh.
But it was nice to take a small break, but now it's just back on the grind.
Have you ever taken a long break?
Not since I've started. That 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks that I actually ended up taking was probably the longest I've gone without being on stage.
How about you, Rev? You ever taken a really long break?
Yeah. Recently, I did
What's
a
the longest
show.
break?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I did a show Saturday, and the last time I was on the stage was in September.
Oh shit!
Right.
That is a break.
That was a break. I was rusty. And the other comment, we ain't see it. We couldn't notice. I'm like, but I did. I could feel it. It's almost like when Jordan came back and he was wearing the 45, trying to get your legs under you again. You could feel it. But, yeah, that was a long time. So,
yeah, I don't think people realize how, like, we might be producing a good product on stage, right? And like you just said, the crowd couldn't tell you were rusty, but you knew it, you know? And that's half of the battle in comedy is like you could put on a good product, you could kill, and if you're not happy with it, you're going to come off stage like, oh, I missed this word, or oh, I've said this wrong. The crowd has no clue that you just told your own joke wrong because they've never heard the joke. They don't know the right version of it, but you come off stage like, motherfucker.
Right.
And it's like, we just beat yourself up over the dumbest shit, but it happens to everybody that gets on stage. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah. You start second guessing yourself and like, oh shit, I should have did that act out right there.
Yeah.
You know, but because you hadn't been on stage and you still don't have that comfort, you kind of shy away from it and then you kick yourself in the ass.
Yep.
Get in your own head.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it went well, but still, I wasn't fucking happy. I came home and started writing shit and should have never happened again.
But you got a good response.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Is the battle is with him. The crowd, they were fucking. I'm sure they had a blast. They didn't know you were rusty. They were just like, yeah, this is it. But you know when you're on stage, all right, I fucked this up, or I don't feel right about that. You know,
your expectations for yourself, that's the hardest.
Yep. It's wild the shit that goes through your head while you're on stage too. You know, like you could be having a whole conversation in your head that has nothing to do with the material you're doing. You're thinking 3 steps ahead, and you're just going through the paces doing the material, and it's like, fuck.
Isn't the brain fascinating? Because you're up there talking, and you're off doing something else, but you're still delivering material the way you need to.
Yeah,
it's amazing to me.
And still trying to be present.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Right.
Yep.
That does take away from the presence.
Well, that's where I got it kind of easy because I'm super low energy. I don't do a lot of act outs. I very rarely raise my voice on stage. You know, it's all pretty much monotone how I'm talking right now. You know, but I couldn't imagine trying to do the act outs. All the like you're a very animated comic, right? I couldn't imagine trying to do all that and the material and think of the next step. Like, at least I can just stand there.
It's tough.
Lean up on the mic stand. So it's a lot easier for me. I don't come off stage sweating, you know?
I do.
I know, but I don't. I move very little, you know? And I think that's a lot of just coming up on church because it's a smaller stage.
Right.
So, like, that's where I've always done comedy. And, like, on big stages, I'm like, God damn, it's like fucking 5 acres out here I could be using, and I'm still just standing by the stool, you know? So it's easier for me, I think. But this high energy guys, I'm like, I do not envy you guys at all.
Oh, it's not pretty sometimes, man. It's like, how the fuck do I get from A to B, energy wise, and commitment wise? So it's you're right.
Yeah, it's wild.
So personally, like, are you you got a wife, you got a fiance, you got a girlfriend?
I got a fiance. She's pretty cool. I always tell her all the time, like, she's not bad for a white girl. That's what I tell her. She gets so fucking mad. But yeah, she's cool. She's the best. She's a horse girl.
A horse girl?
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. I want you to know that.
Is that like being a cat person or a dog person?
Yeah, but like with fucking 1,500-pound cats. They're terrible. I hate them. I rode one horse one time and I was like, I'm out. You know what I mean? I don't want nothing to do with this. No, it's not as bad as it seems, but it's just a lot of work. And like, horse girls are just mean, is the best way I can put it. Like, they're just mean, you know, because they're so used to dealing with fucking horses
and controlling.
Yeah, and then they come home and they're like fucking Like I'm not the horse, you know what I mean? But it's fun. It's fun. It's fun being the girl in the relationship for once, you know what I mean?
Girl in the relationship.
Yep. That's what I tell everybody. That's why I call her my husband. It's fun. It's fun as shit. Yeah. It's true. It's true. I mean, she really, like, if you've heard the joke about the F-250, that's a fucking true story. You know, one day I was just in the passenger seat of her truck, and I'm like, "What the fuck am I doing?"
No
you know?
shit.
Yeah, like, this is wild. You know, but we're actually gonna go probably buy a horse tonight. We got a lady driving like 3 hours to come show us this horse, and she's like, "We gotta look at the horse tonight." And I was like,
So
cool.
Do you live on like a farm or something?
No, we board the horses at a farm, and basically there's like 8 horses on this farm. She's got 2 of them, so like we go there, we'll feed the horses, clean up the shit of all the horses, and then we get to keep her horses there. It's a beautiful farm, so it's worth shoving a little shit just to keep the horses there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in the next 5 to 7 years is our goal to have a farm that is ours that we can put the horses on. But for right now, they're just 8 minutes down the street from the house.
Mm-hmm.
So they're twice a fucking day. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
So what type of horse is she looking at?
I don't know shit about horses, right? So she gets mad because I call her one horse. I was like, that's the brown one, right? She's like, it's not brown. It's fucking red roan or whatever the fuck they call it. And I'm like, it's a fucking brown horse, you know? So like the one we're looking at tonight, it's gray, which it's got some other name.
Right.
I don't know. It's fucking gray.
Gandalf.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a gray horse. But they got all these weird fucking names for the colors and patterns and shit. Whatever. It's a gray horse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. So I'll keep you guys posted when I figure out what kind of horse it is. But right now,
How many does she have?
Yes,
she's got
please.
2 right now.
And this will be a third?
Well, she's selling the one, and then we're gonna probably buy this one. But her good horse, because she's a barrel racer, right? So her good horse, that one's never going anywhere. You know, the second horse she bought is kind of like a buddy for the first horse, and that horse is just a fucking asshole all the time. You know, it is. It's a piece of shit. Fuck that horse. I'll say that right now.
Yeah,
Fuck
that horse might be listening.
Yeah, well, he hears it all, every day. Every time I see him, I'm like, fuck you. You know? I talk shit to these horses like they're people. It's the most fun.
Right.
Walk past them while they're in their little stall. I'll be like, fuck you. It's great. It's fun. But
Never got kicked.
no, I don't get close enough for that.
Not yet.
Yeah, no.
They can read that vibe, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I don't go near them. I'm like, nah. Nope. I'm good.
Talk shit without doors closed.
Oh, yeah. As soon as that thing's locked, I'll be like, you fat piece of shit. But if that door's open, I'm like,
Sound like my wife talking to me. Same thing. So then you have 2 horses. Is one for you, one for her. You're going to go horseback riding.
That's kind of the plan with this new one because it's like older. It's a gray old horse, whatever, but it's supposed to be easier. And that's the fucking cool thing about horse people, right? Or horse girls. Like when they have a horse that's like slow and like older and doesn't do anything cool or whatever, they call it a husband horse. Swear to God. Like if you ever look it up online, that's how they sell them. Like it would make a good husband horse because in the horse world, all the husbands are pussies. So when you have like a pussy horse, it's marketed as a husband horse. And I was like, I don't want that. Like that's ridiculous. But that's how it's marketed. I'm like, hey, all the horse girls are fucking crazy, and they make sure that you know it, and it's fun.
Do you two ever ride the horses together where you're on the back?
Yeah, I'm riding bitch on a horse. But no, that was just a wild visual. But no, I've only ridden a horse once in my life, and she was like, "Bring him over here." And this is how much little I know about horses, right? She's like, "Bring him over here," and I was like, "I don't know how to make it go. Like, I don't know anything about riding a fucking horse." And she's like, "Oh fuck, all right, I forgot." And I'm like, so whatever. She's the horse girl, and I'm just here for.
He's riding on the back, and she's got a shirt that says, "If you can read this, the bitch fell off."
That would be fucking funny. That would be fucking funny. I can't wait till she listens to this, and then that's what's gonna happen.
But she's your fiance,
yeah, we're getting married in October.
so you're going to be the husband.
Yep. Yeah, technically on paper, I guess, but
You got to prove that whole thing wrong, then.
yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my best, but yeah.
Jim's going to paint you a picture for your wedding. You know that, right?
Oh fuck, I know. I've
Is he
seen
an
it.
artist?
Yeah. He painted a picture for another buddy of ours' wedding, and it was fucking funny as shit. But hopefully, maybe he'll paint the picture of me riding bitch on the horse.
There it is.
That's what he needs. That's what he needs to do.
Inspiration right there.
But yeah.
Hair flowing and you got a bear in your hand.
Yep. Yeah. I don't really leave home without them, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Well, anything else you want to promote?
No, man. I mean, honestly, Church of Satire every weekend. You know, I'm there almost every weekend in some capacity. I'm not always on the shows, but I'm always there for
Supporting.
some reason or another. You know, we're going to be starting a podcast out of there probably in March, so I'll keep you posted on that. Other than that, just follow me on social media. Everything's at T Nutty Comedy. All my socials, tnuttycomedy.com. Go there. That's where you can find all the information on upcoming shows and all that shit. But
And that's where they can find your special.
yep, on
Looks
YouTube.
bad on paper.
Yep, that's on YouTube. So look that up, have fun, at least watch it. You know what I mean? I don't care if you hate it or not, just watch it. If you let it play for 15 minutes in the background, then it'll make my algorithm so much easier. You know, that's what I tell people: just mute it and just let it play on your phone or whatever.
What does that do?
If the watch time goes up on your video, it gets put in deeper and deeper into the algorithm. So if you click on it and leave it on for 4 seconds, yeah, I'll technically get a view. But if you let it play for 15 minutes, once it goes past a certain threshold, then it gets bumped up higher in the algorithm. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've watched it like 3 times. That should help.
Yeah,
All the way through.
There you go. But that's, like I said, even if you hate it, just mute it, let it play. Just give me that little bump, you know. Nah, shameless. I don't care. But
No, you
it's
shouldn't.
not for everybody, but I'm proud of it, so go check it out, you know.
Yeah, you should be proud of it. And that's another thing. Like, I see a lot of comedians in their bios and their promoting shows are like, yeah, I'm on the show with some funny people. I'm on it too.
Yeah.
You should be proud of yourself. Like, I think I'm probably in the top 10%, at least, of writers. I think my writing is good. And I'll say that. I know I choke sometimes if I'm doing an open mic in front of comedians. I just get in my head because I know that they're all on their phones and they're not interested. But if you're good, say you're good. Put it in your bio.
Look,
you know?
if you don't think you're good, what the fuck are you doing?
Right. You're not.
That's the way I look at it. Is if I didn't think I was at least competent enough to do stand-up comedy, I wouldn't put a special on YouTube. I wouldn't be promoting anything. I wouldn't be sitting here.
Right.
But you know, like we're all good at what we do, and to be like, hey, I know nobody wants to see me, but if you just buy a ticket, it's like, man, shut the
You
fuck up.
see that too, right?
Yeah, all the time.
Do you feel
All
the same
time.
way?
Yeah, but
Like,
also
advocate for yourself.
I also feel like that is like they're just trying to get the pity vote, you know? That's how I look at it, where they're like, oh.
Or lower the bar so when you see them, they'll be better than they say they are.
Yeah, or they're going to be just as bad as they are.
Right. And there's a lot of that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But there's a lot of good out there, too, so
There's lots of good.
there's plenty of good out there. But, you know,
But the cream rises to the top, I guess.
yep. Cream rises to the top, and the memes go to the bottom, buddy. Stop fucking reading memes on stage. That's my biggest pet peeve in this game right now.
You're going to be my daughter's really favorite comedian because she pointed that out at the last 2 open mics too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you can pay for her college now, Dad.
Okay, that's fine.
She wants to go to she wants to get her master's degree too. So
Oh,
graduate
well,
school. So
fuck that.
Good
You're
luck
not
with
getting that. Not getting that on a comedian's salary, you know. But I can send you to the University of Phoenix online.
there you go.
But
There you go. Well, thanks for coming, man.
thank you guys for having me. This is fun. This is a cool spot, and I like it.
Good. Maybe
I like
come
it a
back
lot.
again sometime.
Oh yeah, whenever you guys want to have me.
Tomorrow. We're going to go tomorrow every day.
Every day.
We're going to start the day with a 3-hour
All right.
podcast.
Can we do it like later in the afternoon?
yeah, we can.
I'm not at my best at 10 in the morning. You know what I mean?
Right. Me either. Rev, you got anything to promote?
Yeah, just go to my page, Rev T Mac. I got some shows coming up. That's it, man.
And you got a room that you're booking regularly, right?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that room, holds 100 and some people?
I believe 160, 170 people. Yeah.
That's a good sized room.
Yeah, if I can fill the bitch.
Yeah. I have no doubt you will.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. You know, because I'm all right. Yeah.
You know, there's some funny people on those shows. You come out and see them. I might be on one of them, I guess, or something.
All right. Well, thank you, Rev. And thank you so much,
thank you,
Tom
guys.
Nutty. We'll see y'all later.
That's it.